G'day my friends, Marty Ware here from Marty's Garden. Have you ever heard of an open-aired worm farm, a half-barrel worm farm? A barrel or a big bucket or something that can hold something with a lid, you can cut it in half and make these open worm farms. And I use mine as worm traps around my wormery, so they escape out of certain areas, they dive back into there, start feeding on the feed and repopulate. And I've got another worm farm and I don't lose any of my worms. But there's a million ways you can use these things. Another really cool way to use them is if you've got a 3-tiered worm farm and you're exploding in numbers as you would if you're a Worm Wranglers member. You got too many and you've got some old buckets or bins and things lying around, you can cut them half and make one of these. So watch this older video that I'm rehashing, bringing back, repurposing, blast from the past, so to speak. And yeah, I'm going to play it now. Hang to the end because I'm going to add more value to the video and ask you a few questions and things like that. So hang around guys, this is really cool. All right, let's get into it. G'day Worm Wranglers, Marty Ware here from Marty's Garden. Today I've got a super duper video for you, yep, teaching you how to build a half barrel productive worm farm. This is really cool, so keep watching the video to find out more guys. To get started, you'll need some type of old plastic barrel that you can cut in half to house your worms. Just remember to add a couple of holes to allow the water to flow through. You'll also need your worm bedding, approximately 30 litres to 8 to 9 gallons. I'm using recycled cocoa fibre here from a local farm that I went and picked up yesterday. I also have 2 pieces of Hessian jute fibre, which I plan to use as worm blankets. You can use any type of bedding in this farm, mushroom, compost, cocoa peat, anything that you choose. But I have chosen to use the recycled cocoa fibre here because I like all the little roots in it and I get it really cheap from the local farm and the worms really dig it. Now once it's sort of washed down and you remove any salts and things, it breaks down pretty quickly and becomes a really great worm casting. I like to get the bedding nice and flat so then when I add the worms and I feed it, I can really see what's going on and look around for cocoons and find the worms really easily. In this worm farm, I'm adding around about 1,500 worms. Now these are a mixture of tiger worms, European night crawlers and African night crawlers. I actually have some really big mature worms in here, so they will just power through this bedding really quick. If you'd like me to keep you updated on the progress of this worm farm, please let me know in the comments box down below. So look at all these big, fat, juicy worms ready to devour this bedding and any food that I give it. Now, what I'm going to do is add the worm blankets over the top. These are Hessian jute fibre blankets. They work pretty good. They hold the moisture quite well, and eventually the worms will eat them, and it'll just turn it into a worm casting. You can soak these blankets for a while. That's probably a better idea. But what I'm going to do is just wet it down. The material, actually, the bedding is already quite moist, so I didn't need to add too much. And it's about to rain today, so I'm just going to leave it out in the rain and let it do its thing. Allow about 2 days for the worms to settle in. And then fold the blanket back and feed into the center of the worm farm. And after about 2 days, you'll find that they will start eating on this material. Well, I've just used basically kitchen scraps here. Sort of like some mung bean sprouts, bit of old carrot, and even some crushed up eggshell, which they use in their gizzard as grits so they can digest all the food. But they will eat just about any veggie scraps that you give them. Just avoid giving them any dairy and too much sort of garlic or onion and citrus peel. Then find a nice warm position for your worm farm and wait for harvest time. And Worm Wranglers, if you have any questions, please leave them down below. Do you want to learn more about worm farming? Well, we've got cards, links in the description. Everything is right here for you right now. So click on one and check out the next video. And I'll see you real soon. Bye for now. Yeah, all right. How's that? Blast from the past. I love those barrels. I don't actually have any right as we speak. And I'm going to be looking for something like that I can use again in the very near future. Now, when your worms are getting really big in your worm farms, they want to escape, especially if you're getting mixers and you've got night crawlers in them. They just like a lot more space. And when they've got more space, they'll get even bigger. Like you saw how big some of those were. Yeah, man, they grow huge.
and I've had them grow absolutely massive, some of the night crawlers in my windrows, but they will grow quite big in a system like that and become big breeders. Now, you do need to keep the food up, and you do need to keep the bedding really good, otherwise they will sort of move on. But if you've got them placed around sort of the wormery where they can escape, crawl up into a compost bin, crawl into another worm farm, move into a windrow, things like that, or you've got them sort of up on a table, no problem. And when they're cold, like when the weather's colder, they won't leave the worm farm as well. It's just when it's hot, there's a bit of rain, there's not enough food, there's too many worms in there, then they're going to move on. Look, if you've got any questions about the half-barrel open-air worm farm, leave them in the comments box down below. If you ever use anything like that, let me know as well. Maybe you got something to share here at the Worm Wranglers members area over in Facebook or something like that, in our group over there. Look, I'm just stoked to get these videos back out to you and keep you guys in the loop on how to grow more worms and more great food at home, because when you've got half-barrel worm farms like that, the open-air ones, you get heaps of castings and heaps of compost, guys, and that means more plants and more food on your kitchen table. All right, have a great day, happy everything, and we'll see you at the next video real soon. Bye for now.